In this presentation, I'm going to discern between the true definition of individuality and the false definition of individuality held by the Freemasons. First, I'll begin with a quick introduction to some basic numerology. Numerology works on the basis that the letters of the alphabet can also be used as numbers, meaning words and phrases can acquire distinctive numerical values or patterns. The two numerology charts that I'm going to utilize to acquire my values are the Pythagorean and Chaldean charts. With each one, you can see how each letter derives its numerical value. So here's an example with the Pythagorean chart when translating the phrase a third into numbers. A is 1, T is 2, H is 8, I is 9, R is 9, and D is 4, the total of which is 33. Now here's an example using the Chaldean chart to translate the phrase 1/3 into numbers. O is 7, N is 5, E is 5, T is 4, H is 5, I is 1, R is 2, and D is 4. The total of all these values is also 33. The number 33 is in relation to God's people, the 1/3 or 33% spoken of in Zechariah chapter 13 verses 8 to 9. And it shall come to pass, that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and will refine them, as silver is refined, and will try them, as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people. And they shall say, The Lord is my God. These two verses act as the basis for the connection between significant words and phrases relating to the Bible and the number 33 of Pythagorean and Chaldean numerology. Some of these words are listed, such as 1/3, a third, 1/3, true third, God's third, with a third, are his third, the 33% of, people, and many more, all equal 33, in either Pythagorean, denoted with a P, or Chaldean, denoted with a C. With this connection established, you can use the same methods to discover many more words and phrases relating to the scriptures, such as these. Although this may only be a small sample of the many that exist, you can see by the range of significant words and phrases that this correlation with the number 33 is not just a mere coincidence. Just as God employed mathematical laws in the design of his creation, he used numerals in the design of his word. Patterns such as this one with the number 33 exhibit a numerical design that can only be explained by the direct inspiration of a creator. This serves as objective proof that reaffirms the God of the Bible. So now that you know about the numerology, I'll continue to explain the difference between what distinguishes the true definition of individuality above from the false definition of individuality below. Simultaneously, I'll show the correct usage and interpretation of the 33 valued words and phrases of numerology with true individuality, in contrast with the false interpretation of numerology used for the false definition of individuality below. I'll go through the correct version first. The first thing to understand is that the opposite of truth is the illusion of truth. With the potential to correctly perceive truth comes the potential to incorrectly perceive truth. While one or both sides may seem plausible at first appearance, only the truth will possess the content. The illusion only has the illusion of content. This is only discovered through detailed examination. The correct interpretation is the definition of truth, while the false interpretation is the distortion of truth. It is merely the distorted inversion of the real thing. One is the intent, the other is the undesirable byproduct. This same dynamic is at work between the true definition of individuality and the distortion of individuality. The true individuality of man centers around masculine and feminine. Mark chapter 10 verses 6 to 9. But from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. The pronoun I used to address oneself in the first person, is an abbreviation of the word individual. The qualities of being an individual is called individuality, and the word individuality is a contraction of the words indivisible-duality. Indivisible, meaning unable to be divided or separated, and duality, meaning qualities of being dual, with dual meaning consisting of two parts, aspects or functions. These two parts or properties being masculine and feminine, as they are essential for the life of the individual. This is observed most notably with children taking after the likeness of both their parents. If I can be used to refer to oneself in the first person, then you can be used to refer to someone in the second person. If I is for individual and the qualities of individuality, then U is for unit and the qualities of unity. Luke chapter 11 verses 34 and 36. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore when thine eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. If thy whole body therefore be full of light, having no part dark, the whole shall be full of light, as when the bright shining of a candle doth give thee light. Romans chapter 12 verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Thessalonians chapter 4 verses 3 to 5. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that ye should abstain from fornication, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honour, not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles, which know not God. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 19. Nevertheless the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal: The Lord knoweth them that are his, and let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. You can find out more regarding my interpretation of the seal of God in my presentation entitled The Seal of God Deduced. Colossians chapter 3 verses 9 to 13. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all, and in all. The universe. I am individual, you are individual, you and I are one of a kind. This definition is universal. If you and I are one of a kind, then you and I are unique. Every person is an individual, but every individual is distinct from every other individual. This quality of individual uniqueness is inherent from God, who represents the individual, the template that all individuals are to emulate. 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 22. Wherefore thou art great, O Lord God, for there is none like thee, neither is there any God beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. The pronouns you and I are simply abbreviated to you and I. You and I is spelt the same as the Latin prefix uni. Uni stems from the Latin word unus, meaning one. John chapter 10 verse 30. I and my Father are one. While God the Father is not male and female, he does however consist of the properties of masculine and feminine, just as all individuals do. These properties of God are where the definition of man and woman originate from. Where you have one, you must have the other. Indivisible duality means that in order to have the fullness of one aspect, it requires the fullness of the other aspect. The male is only fulfilled with the fulfillment of the female, and vice versa. Genesis chapter 2 verse 18. And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. Genesis chapter 2 verses 24 to 25. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. You can now see how the concept of the indivisible duality of man first originated with God. This definition is generative. However, the one below is degenerative. It is a distorted inversion of the original. I'm now going to quickly cover the false definition of the individual along with the incorrect interpretation of the 33 valued words of numerology that are used to support it. The properties of masculine and feminine have instead been replaced by good and evil, denoted in black and white. This is to say that the definition of the indivisible duality of man comprises of good and evil, that in order to have the properties of one, requires the properties of the other, effectively giving its proponents the perception that they had the right to commit immoral acts. It would not only change their definition of right and wrong, lawful and unlawful, good and evil, but also of man and God. This false definition of indivisible duality is perpetuated most notably by the Freemasons, with Freemasonry being the largest worldwide fraternal secret society. As you can tell just from this small collection of Masonic images, the organization has fashioned itself around the 33 valued words of numerology. For instance, letter G equals 33, capital G equals 33, G being the 7th letter of the alphabet, 7th equals 33, letter 7 equals 33. Masonry, the Masons are Masons, 33. Secrecy, society, fraternity, also 33. According to the Freemasons themselves, the organization of Freemasonry has been established for at least 300 years. This means that the Freemasons and their affiliates have long known about the knowledge contained within the numerology, and yet this has never been brought to light for the greater part of humanity. This means the knowledge has deliberately been kept in the hands of a select few and away from the rest, with no other possible motive but in order to create an artificial power differential between those who are knowledgeable and those who are kept in perpetual ignorance. The foundations for where this organization draws its false interpretation of truth from can be discerned with reference to key Bible verses and 33 valued words of numerology. Zechariah chapter 11 verse 17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock! The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Left eye, left side, darkens eye, blinds right. 33. This is the reason why the Masons commonly depict their interpretation of God with a single left eye. You can find this to be the case on many Masonic works, including this one, which is found on the $1 bill of the United States of America, in the center of which it reads, "In God we trust." However, this is not a reference to God the Father in the Bible, but the false light, Lucifer, who is referred to as the light bearer, as light bearer equals 33. This false light is the supposed illumination of man to his definition of being good and evil, this being false, of course. The reason behind attributing one half of man's definition to good and the other to evil stems all the way back to the original lie spoken of by Satan when tempting Eve to eat of the forbidden fruit. Genesis chapter 3 verse 5. God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. On top of this, both a light and dark connotation would have been attributed to the 33 of numerology by the Masons from reading into Revelation chapter 12 verses 3 to 4. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which is ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. The devil, a serpent, a dragon, his tail, drew 3rd. 33. This false perception of the 33 numerology as having both a good and evil origin is what has led the Masons to attribute all the qualities of Christ to evil as well. With the Masons believing themselves to possess the knowledge of God, they will believe that they can change the entire context of the Bible in their favor, making them pure in the eyes of God and everyone else reprobate. Titus chapter 1 verses 15 to 16. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. More proof of this switching of contexts is evident in the adoption of certain aspects from the Bible displayed in their works, such as these: faith, hope, and charity. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. The Masons have effectively taken the Bible as their own, in combination with the 33 Numerology, have professed themselves to be the true third part, or 33%, and the rightful elect of God. The Masons do not share the same perception of good as traditional Christians do. The Masons instead see a person who is accepting of both their good and supposed evil natures as good, with this being the false definition of indivisible duality, that for the fullness of one requires the fullness of the other. Hence the extensive use of the black and white checkerboard floors found in Freemason lodges, along with their affiliates. This false philosophy can also be found expressed within popular culture. Good people know about both good and evil. Bad people do not know about either. This quote is ironic in that the Masons who prize themselves as knowing the knowledge of good and evil do not know either. Their pursuit to know the knowledge of good and evil has been a false cause. The original perception of good and evil has always been the correct one, and always will be. You shall know them by their works. From the truth springs forth good works of honesty and charity. From the lie comes forth only evil works, more lies and deception. The ultimate lie is the false definition of God. This is what was enabling evil. Only one can be true. You shall know by their works. Definition: distortion. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 to 24. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and Mammon. Thank you for watching my presentation. Please share this if you found it valuable, especially to any potential Masons. Hopefully, any that do see this may be influenced to turn away from Masonry and towards Christ instead. I'll return to follow with more soon. Thanks again for watching, and God bless.